Here now. Okay, ready.
Yeah. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Kick.
Welcome back to.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Kickback Hypercast. This is your host, Xavier.
This is your co-host, Brandon.
This is your co-host, Nathanial.
And it's called Charles.
You know, I've been thinking, should we go by our profile names online now?
No.
You think that's a good idea?
Everyone except Charles.
I mean, I'd be up for it, but wouldn't that break a little bit of consistency? I mean, I'd do it, but...
I mean, everything changes over time.
Okay, so then we have to, like, for always call ourselves by
Hello,
this.
guys. This is Naru.
No.
Mine's just so swagged, Nathaniel. You realize this, right?
You know,
Yeah, do you realize
I just-
mine is?
Like, yours is like lust
okay.
unnoticed.
Lust, no,
shit.
just lust, pure.
Okay, so the episode we're going to be doing this time is our games of the decade. And we're going to be starting with Brandon, followed by Nathaniel, followed by Charles, and then finally me. We have different numbers of games, so you can expect as many as 3 from some of us, or as little as 1. So without further ado, let's get started with Brandon's game of the decade.
So I have 2 games of the decade that define my decade. So the first one is Persona 5. It came out in 2017, but I didn't get to it until, what was it, like 2019 or 2018? Do you have something to say?
No, I was just gesturing that it's a good game. But I was thinking about this one Newgrounds video involving Futaba. But
Oh, God,
let's
which
not
one?
talk about that.
Stop, don't call her like that either. That is a
Futaba.
lot of...
What?
Don't say futaba. That's really...
Futabasca.
Futaba.
Futabasca.
That's
Futaba.
really cursed stuff right there.
There's really cursed stuff, man.
Let me take this name seriously.
Okay, but yeah, it was 2019 that I fully got into it. Because, like, Joker was revealed around, was it like the Game Awards for, like, Smash Ultimate? Then I just decided, hey, I'll just play my version of Persona 5. Started playing it. I didn't think I would love it. And now I extremely love the game.
As someone who has also played the game, it can suck you in. It has that power.
It sucked me in into like 100 hours of gameplay.
I hit like 80 easily.
So like the goal of the game, for people who don't know, you just steal the hearts of people that are evil and corrupted. That's basically the main.
Thus, like, making them better people and admit their sins or something around those lines.
You
Yeah.
actually have it for someone who doesn't play the game.
I watched the anime. The anime was
Oh,
lackluster.
God.
Yeah, most of the enemies are.
So one of the main attractions that brought me to love the game is like spending time with each of your friends of sorts, like Yusuke.
You mean best boy?
Yeah, Makoto, An. I might say his name wrong.
Ryuji.
Ryuji. I knew I was gonna.
Luigi.
I knew I was gonna say that wrong.
Mamma mia, what the hell?
But like picking like a time of day, just like, okay, who do I want to spend today with? Yusuke, An, like, who is it? Then you go with Yusuke, and then you just go out to the park and then like act stupid with them.
Favorite scene being the one where you're on the boat in the water, and then like he's painting this romancing couple. Turns out they're brother and sister. That was,
Even better.
Ooh, only in Japan.
Sweet home, Alabama.
no, I mean they were just like out together. Like they weren't together, but they were just
Oh,
there.
they assumed they were?
Yeah.
Wow.
Sweet home, Alabama.
So, Persona 5 is your game of the decade.
One of them.
One of them.
So I'll go on to my next one that came out in 2019. I played and got me into a horror series that I love now. Resident Evil 2 remake.
And
And
featuring Dante from Devil May Cry.
Do you know why that's a meme?
No.
I'll explain later if we have time.
So basically, what you're trying to do in the game is trying to escape this zombie infected city and trying to figure out what the scientists have done in this city or the corporation umbrella. Then you have this like big man, Mr. X, just chasing you around the whole building. My God, he's one of that man.
So it threw off a lot of players because I figured it out. He's only in the second playthrough of the original game. However, he's just in the first playthrough now for the remake. Like, you'll just be walking down a hallway, see a crashed helicopter, he just lifts it with one hand and looks dead at you, then starts walking towards you.
Nanomachines, son.
You can
Damn.
hear his like boot stomps from down the hallway. It's terrifying.
Nanomachines.
Yeah, I'm just like, what?
But it's like one of like the encounters that I remember and from like a recent playthrough. It's like I'm playing as Claire, then I like enter the main hallway, and then I just see this fucker just like staring right at me. I'm going, nope. Run the other way. I'm not dealing with this guy at all.
Mind you, I don't know if you've seen Mr. X. He's a tall, dark guy in a trench coat, hat, with big boots.
Interesting.
He's just there.
But like the thing that drew me into the game is like the horror elements. Because it's like your like senses are like raised to the max. Because you feel like something is right behind you on top of the ceiling, like in front of you, behind you.
Did you play with headphones?
Yes.
Excellent. Yeah, that's the way to play. Resident Evil 2 remake, right?
Yeah.
One of my favorite parts of playing that game, and I've played it very recently, was narrating my character's thoughts the whole time.
Leon's thoughts.
Yeah. It just made the game feel a lot more real. And especially when you just came to things like, you know, going this way is going to be like some messed up shit on the way. And I just be like, nope.
Yep, see those dead bodies.
It's like you haven't
Day
been
33.
It's like you haven't been in this area before. You're going like, okay, this is a long ass hallway. You know something's gonna pop up.
What are those things called? Liquors?
Yeah, liquors.
Yeah. I was just walking down a hallway casually. This is pretty early in the game, I think. And like this thing's just on the ceiling. And I'm like, all right, this is where we go back. Because that shit right there, we don't mess with that shit. And I came back with a shotgun.
Yeah, that's about right.
EMS.
And I also enjoy like conserving like all the space in your inventory, like trying to keep things in there.
Yeah,
So
there's an element of like trying to decide if you should run back to that safe room or not to store your stuff so you can continue.
Yeah.
it's like you should bring like this amount of like healing items, or like keep this weapon in here and then put another weapon in the safe.
Because, you know, this magical box is just in every single room holding your stuff.
And then also like the ammo as well. Like you have to be very careful conserving ammo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's some of the bosses in the game where it's like you have to conserve ammo or
Well,
it
sponge
screws
bosses.
you up.
Yeah. I stick to knives if I can ever find
Yeah,
those things.
always use knives.
Yeah. There's
Actually,
many reasons
like-
I don't want to play. There's a reason I can't play because I'm bad at aim. I have really bad aim.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the name of the game is not Call of Duty. You're not eliminating every enemy in front of you. No, you better like learn to
You-
run around zombies fast.
And you have to focus on shooting the head. If you're just trying to shoot them in the stomach a couple times, you're not gonna
There's
have a good
also
day.
like a tip when shooting. If you like aim, there's like your reticle will like zoom in slightly. Once it's zooming,
Yep.
that's when you shoot.
Yeah.
It does more damage.
I don't know if it's later games or I'm thinking of another game, but you can actually shoot their limbs.
No, that's yeah, no, this one. You can shoot the limbs; they'll see it slowly fall off and hit the floor and stuff like that.
Shoot the legs.
I don't know if it'll help you any, but you know,
It as long as it decreases their mobility, that's what
then
I'm
yeah,
thinking
go for the
about.
legs then, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you have to be careful or they're just gonna like crawl after you with like no legs.
Bro,
Cut
I
off
will
their arms.
stomp on his head.
Cop.
You
Shoot off their
can't
head,
stomp
them.
on their head. You
Because
have
you know
to either
Leon
knife
doesn't
them.
want to stomp on heads.
Oh, Leon's wearing his J's. Doesn't want to get them dirty.
Speaking of Resident Evil, I can't wait for Resident Evil 3.
Yeah, they're hyping that enough to be pretty fun. Like
Yeah.
as soon as I download the game, they were already like offering me like the next game. Like, hey, go back on Steam and buy this game that's not out yet.
Why?
Getting chased by Nemesis instead of Mr. X, that's gonna be terrifying as all hell. This time it's Mr. X with guns.
Well, who gave him a
I know
gun?
I know he has like a flamethrower on him. Like
He has a rocket
Nemesis.
launcher, a minigun, and a flamethrower. He's just armed to the teeth.
Who gave him these weapons?
NASA?
Why?
I don't know. Yeah, but with these like major virus outbreaks in these video games, I feel like they're foreshadowing something greater, and it just creeps me out sometimes.
At least we're prepared.
Yeah.
I have 3 years of Resident Evil training on my belt.
I've played countless zombie games. I know countless zombie viruses. I am prepared for this.
Dude, and on the other side of this room, you have like 4 swords.
Exactly.
We're ready to kill some zombies.
Oh my god. Okay, so now your turn, Nathaniel, right?
Of course. So my game of the decade, which everyone's probably gonna see coming from a mile off, is Hollow Knight.
No, of course.
It's just
Yep.
there's so much to do.
Yeah.
So obviously it's a $15 game made by Team Cherry. It released February 2017, and I really words
Words are gone.
You really love the game.
I do. I really do. I got sucked into it slightly. And like there's no clear goal. There never really is. You're just told to go down this well and explore this giant kingdom. You know, maybe you'll get some loot and, you know, stuff like that. I was like, okay, cool. I can be a badass hero or adventurer. Splunker. So I go down there and the first boss, technically my second, Hornet, whoops my ass 10 times in a row. Just absolutely throttles me. I couldn't keep up with her speed. Then I put the game down and like I waited a whole other week before trying again. So I'm like, I bought the game. I might as well try again. I was just pissy.
So if I remember correctly, one of your defining like revelations in Hollow Knight was when me and you were playing the game around the same time, and I was telling you about how my progress was going, and then you compared it to yours. Mm-hmm. Exploring the Hollow Nest.
Every single player, most players, will have like different routes throughout Hollow Nest. It's just that cool. Because each and every biome has like 2 or 3 ways out of it.
The Hollow Nest is essentially like an underground, like huge cavern with many twists and turns of which way you can go. Hidden with like packed with like hidden goodies and
there's different
characters.
biomes from like the Crystal Peaks, like the Green Path, to like the deep dark down.
If you get down there somehow, you've
And
messed up.
There's something story related behind just about each and every place, and there's
Exactly.
something worthwhile of getting there too. And like, one of the biggest places, well, not biggest, but one of the most notable places being the City of Tears.
That one got me too. That was like the musical score for that area was like, holy, I'm about to cry now.
Like, I think I told you too. Like, some of the major feelings of playing that game is like curiosity, anxiety, and like just like being scared, but like really wanting to know what happens next.
There's a reason why Hollow Nest is called a ruins now. It's
Yeah.
a lot of it's dilapidated. There's not a whole lot going on anymore. You're
And as the
coming through a tomb.
as the story grows, like you learn more about your character and like their role.
You also like piece together different parts from here and there, and like not every player is going to put it together the same way usually.
Yeah.
Nope.
It's like trying to solve a mystery by exploring some ruins as a knight. And like I mean, if you just told me that alone, like that just sounds like an awesome selling point for that game. It's fun. It just sounds fun.
Not to mention the 40 plus bosses, plus the God Home, which it's the same bosses but stronger, new attacks, new music too. This game's $15, and there's so much to do. There's like 4 different endings. I'm still not done with it. I'll finish it one day.
My playthrough stopped in January once school started back up, but
Fair
I
enough.
do plan to go back to it soon.
Where were you?
I wrapped up in. I'm actually trying to figure out where to go next. I left the Royal Waterways. I came out of the that really weird area that's like really grayed out. You go there by falling through a chasm.
That is the oh my
It's
god,
on the tip of my tongue too. But it's like where all the really ancient stuff is. It's probably one of the lowest
Ancient
points.
basin.
Ancient. There you go.
you said ancient.
basin.
That's what triggered it.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I'm just trying to figure out where to go next. Really.
I know I need to go through the game as well.
Yeah, you bought
I'll just
it.
give you a tip. Look for the tram pass. That'll allow you to use the trams.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for next.
Deep Nest.
Awesome. Alrighty. Was that all for you?
Yeah, but like the main reason why it's my game of the decade is just for the fact of at the end of the day, I want to go home, kill time, and play games. And Hollow Knight's just a game to do that. It's cheap and it has so much in it: story, characters, items, weapons, bosses. It's worth every penny, I believe.
And let me add to that too. It's also out on Switch right now. And I've had times where I just had to sit and wait for things. For example, like getting my car done. Sorry for adding real life things into this podcast.
Oof. Oh god.
But just having my Switch on me, I whipped out Hollow Knight. I waited about 3 hours for them to work on my car, and I was just playing Hollow Knight the whole time with my headphones in. That was probably one of the most immersive experiences ever, and I just wasn't at home in the comfort of my room. So yeah,
It's
I do love that.
And I will say without a doubt is one of the best Metroidvania games out there. Maybe even the best, like the actual best. Although some people might fight me for that.
Yeah, people would fight you say
agree with you.
Metroid's the best.
I mean, it is the defining. Anyways.
Yep.
All right, so Charles.
Well, I'm currently on the 4, so this is gonna be a fun time. But yeah, well, I have 2 games because I had issues choosing between 2 games because one game I played a lot, but the other game I just started playing recently, and the game really caught my attention so early on, and I'm super immersed into the game, so I'm stuck between these 2 games.
Talk about both of them.
Yes, I'm doing. So
Hold on, Charles. Something's wrong. Speak. Yeah. Okay, we're good.
We're good? Okay. But yeah, first game I'm going to talk about is Darkest Dungeon. Well, Darkest Dungeon, I've talked about the game a lot. And it's one of those games where I've dumped 200-300 hours onto the game. And I don't regret any of it. Because it's what caught me in this game is the world itself. When I started the game, it put me onto this it started off with this narrator and I'm actually was interested in the whole who's this narrator and why does he need my help? And next thing I know, I'm playing this game where I'm playing these 2 guys. I'm playing this knight who the art style is in playing this knight looking guy and this bandit looking dude, and it's okay, what am I doing? And the game walks me through. And as I'm playing the game, the first mission is not even that bad. Fight some bandits, get to the real estate, and you realize, oh crap, everything's gone to shit. And you need to fix all of it. Good luck, have fun, don't worry. And the world was honestly beautiful. There's so much in the world, and you could constantly think about it. And the thing I liked about Darkest Dungeon is it only focused on one aspect of the world. There's probably more of it because the world is mainly about an eldritch being from underground being released and going and this real estate being attacked. I've always wondered what happened, but I wonder what happened. And as I'm playing the game, you find out more about what happened. You realize maybe the guy who left you this place, your ancestor, wasn't the good guy. And I like this. The game is good. The game's great. The characters, there's not really characters per se. There's only the narrator, you, and your fun cohorts of a guy who looks like he wants to, just creepy people who want to help you. You have the pretty people the guy.
Hello, kid. Want to follow me in this cave? I'll help you out.
You have the lady who helps you with bandits. The lady who helps camping. You have the nun guy. You have the town speaker. And you have there's the there's that nun woman who creeps me out.
Nun woman?
She's in the medical area.
Nun woman, I love that.
She's in the medical area.
Is it possible to be a nun man, Charles?
You said nun man already.
I already said nun man.
What are you saying?
I don't know.
He's speaking smoke.
Yeah. But yeah, I like the game a lot.
I've been thinking
mechanics.
I've been thinking about trying it out for a while now.
Mechanics is what caught me the most, because the game is you have 4 moves. You 4 moves, 4 attacks.
I'll pause you right there for a second. It's a turn-based game
Turn-based
where you
RPG.
just take turns fighting creatures. Let's just get that out of the way. So
It's a
people aren't confused.
speed-based turn.
You don't say that's speed-based?
No, it's based off your character speeds, how you move turns.
So in
It still
some
stays
ways you
turn-based.
can.
Turn-based, yeah.
Yeah.
In some ways-
let's not turn based into a 5-minute lecture.
Yeah, okay.
In some ways-
turn-based.
In some
Turn-based
ways,
RPG.
fuck it, whatever. I don't
It's
care.
turn-based RPG, Brandon.
Turn-based RPG. Now you can continue with the mechanics.
But yeah, the mechanics is what caught me the most, because there's a mechanic that I call stress. it actually is a very important mechanic in the game. It makes or breaks your character.
I enjoyed that part too. I don't see many games with like a stress
No.
mechanic. Like you don't think, hey, maybe exploring this deep dark tomb full of tentacles and sacrifices and zombies is gonna, affect my mentality.
Nah, I'm gonna be fine afterwards. Don't worry.
Yeah, just meditate.
You literally have to do that to cure your stress.
Yep.
Yeah, but the stress has been it makes it where you can't just like be reckless.
Yeah. There's consequence behind everything you do.
Like you like interacting like, oh look, this bookshelf, random bookshelf that popped up in your dungeon. It's also a dungeon crawler, but yeah.
See, I wish like stress was added more into games.
Yeah.
Like example, like with the game I just talked about, Resident Evil. Like those characters should be like stressed out because of these
Well, in that game, I wouldn't call it stress. Maybe like a fear meter.
a fear meter.
Leon
yeah.
has
They
a
can-
few witty one-liners for like terrifying situations is what gets me.
Oh, yeah, Leon's just a badass. I don't think you can
Leon-
give him a fear meter.
He's a rookie at a police department. Where did he become this badass already?
Dude,
Well, you become a badass in zombie apocalypse.
he's in. This man has played Silent Hill. That's why he knows what to do.
Oh. But yeah, I honestly love the stress mechanic. It makes it where there's a random bookshelf in the dungeon. You can't just I'm going to interact with it. You could either get good and get a quirk, or you get stressed out and your character goes crazy.
By reading a book.
Yeah, because you get stressed. And once you get 100 stress, you get a affliction or a virtue. And well, you mainly will always get afflictions because virtues are low to get.
So
25%.
afflictions are bad things. Your character will start hitting other people, or
Either
maybe
hitting
won't
people-
want to take its own turn, things like that.
Hitting
Virtues is like self-healing, encouragement to
stress.
lower stress to other people.
Heal stress, buffing your allies, and stuff like that. Afflictions can range actually from depending on the affliction itself. Like sadism would actually make it where your character will start beating your other characters. Or there's paranoia. That one makes it where your character will actually skip his turns, or like, let's say I'm going to heal him. He will say, "Oh, I don't want to be healed," and you can't heal him.
Oh, okay then.
You just can't heal him. The game you can't heal him anymore on that turn.
So this stress mechanic can ultimately just spin battles around.
Yeah.
I've seen people quit the game because they couldn't handle the mechanic, though. So
Yeah.
it's a
It's a make or break.
double-edged sword.
It's a make or break.
Make or break.
Yeah. But yeah, I
So-
love that mechanic too.
What's the next mechanic? Or if there are
next,
any.
next mechanic is actually the dungeon exploring itself.
Yeah.
Because when you go into a room, there's like a map in the corner of the area, and you can just click an area and walk through the dungeon, walk through the area, interact with items, find debris, or find monsters that want to eat your face.
Awesome. Sounds like a solid RPG.
Yeah, and there's like many things that can happen in dungeons, and the main goal of the game is to go to the darkest dungeon itself, aka the game, and kill the thing that's in behind the thing. I do want to say what it is, but I don't want to say what it is.
That's fine.
You defeat the evil that's causing
defeat
the
the
other
evil, yeah.
evils to come out.
Okay, so you just kill the pregnant person.
No,
Oh God, Xavier, what have you done,
no, you've gone too far.
You've gone
Xavier?
too far. All right, well,
But yeah, that's Darkest Dungeon. My other game, which is a game that I also forgot to say Darkest Dungeon did come out in 2016. And this game also came out in 2016. But
okay.
this came out the later of 2016, while Darkest Dungeon came out in the earlier of it.
Okay.
I'm just saying, because like,
It's okay. What's this
Yeah.
next game?
next game on my list is Lobotomy Corporation. Now this game, I wish I found about it sooner, but I'm having such a blast with the game. You ever heard of, if you know SCP Containment Breach?
Just SCP in general.
Yeah, SCP in
It's
general.
a weird, or no, I wouldn't say weird. That's a little rude. It's like a fan base, so to speak, and they create these creatures and things like that. And there's been several games made out of them.
Yeah.
These creatures are known as anomalies. They can do pretty freaky things, from like books made of skin, or like like songs written in blood. Some pretty creepy stuff in there. A statue that only moves when you blink or something like that.
Yeah.
And so you ever like you essentially run a facility full of these creatures. Continue.
You run a facility that runs. Yeah, it's like that. You run a facility that you're researching and you're gaining energy from these creatures because they're actually using for power in this game.
Just a bunch of scientists, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. And your whole goal, the ultimate goal is researching all these creatures and getting energy. But as you play the game more and more and more, you realize this place you're working at is not what it seems. Because what caught me in this game the most was everything looks cutesy. Everything is cutesy. But early on in the game, on day 6 or 7,
that was like one of my most memorable things. They literally shut off the filter for you, and everything was horrifying and gory. And like, we're gonna turn that back on so you don't go crazy.
Yeah, turn the filter. It caught my attention.
Like that's why everything's cutesy. That's oh god.
Because I always wonder why the game looks cutesy, and there's an actual reason why the game looks cutesy. And like so, and the main character who puts you through is Angela.
An android.
Angela, who's an AI actually.
AI.
AI.
It looks like wouldn't it be an android if it's like a
No, it's like an android, like, but she's like an AI, like android AI. Yeah.
Android.
Yeah, I'd say android.
She's humanoid. She's more human than the rest because in the series you meet these other AIs with the filter on, they look like normal people, but with the filter off, they actually look like they're just robots. Which I have some pictures of it, but they look like just normal. They look like robots, but with the filter on, they look like normal people. It's super weird. It's like all the robots have different personalities. I love the characters in the series. I feel bad for them. I want to help them sometimes. I want to one die. And like I love the characters. And then the SCPs themselves, the game its main focus, are all interesting.
Yeah.
My favorite being Plug Doctor.
Who turns into a literal quote unquote god.
Well, he is a god. Because one of the things about the game is they capture these SCPs, and Plug Doctor's whole thing is he wasn't captured. He just came.
I won't say SCP over and over because that's not what this is.
But yeah.
Because you can't say Plague Doctor and SCP because then they'll think it's something different.
Yeah, anomalies. So we'll call them anomalies.
Because this is not part of the whole SCP Foundation fan base.
No.
It's based off of that, I'm pretty sure. But
It's
it's not. It's nowhere near the same.
Okay. So if we got into story and mechanics.
Story mechanics. The story itself is, well,
You pretty much explained it, didn't you?
I already explained the story.
Okay. Just making sure.
It's you researching these and you find out more and more about this. There's underlying evil.
Okay.
And the whole the mechanics. Research. There's a mechanic where you research. Let's say use Plug Doctor for example right now. Your 4 choices. You have instinct, attachment. I'm forgetting the other 2 right now, but basically it separates them in red, black, white, blue. And each one is like different, like repression. Repression and insight. Repression, insight, instinct, and well, I just think I said the other
Your
one.
goal is to send these little researchers you create into each and every one of these chambers, and you pick an option.
Okay,
And-
so they get to learn things.
Yeah, each creature has different options though, and if they don't
Gotta
like
be
what
careful.
you pick, they'll kill your character. It's
Because like example, Pug Doctor, his whole mechanic is each anomaly has a different mechanic as well.
each anomaly based on what they are. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
actually.
but Pug Doctor, if you get a good result on him, which you get results, like each anomaly gets so much energy. Like example, a Zayan or the lowest will give you like 12, but like an alpha, which is the strongest, gives you like 30. But they're harder to research and they can do like worse things. Like Pug Doctor at the beginning, if you get a good result, he'll give you a gift. But as he gives more and more gifts, he'll get stronger and stronger and stronger until he becomes a White Knight itself, which is a elf. And he's a god himself. And in the whole mechanic that involves from him giving you gifts to you not having to praise him every 30 seconds or he'll break free and everybody will die.
All right, Dylan.
Yeah.
All right. Let's hop into our last one, okay?
On to Xavier now.
Xavier,
You guys have had some very, very big titles.
Some longer discussions for sure, but
Yeah.
we'll talk that.
No, just big titles.
Oh,
Well,
Emphasis on big because these games are actually pretty lengthy.
definitely.
yeah.
Okie doke. So, this game was released in 2010, beginning of the decade. Let me turn off monitoring. All right.
You head on me.
Yeah. So, this game was released in 2010, June, in Japan. Later, it was released in 2012 in America. Thanks for pointing that out, Charles. You're still monitoring. Okay, there we go. Now we're good. So this is the game that got me into JRPGs. I have never really been a big RPG person, but this game showed me that RPGs can be real time and they can also be fun at the same time. It has good characters, and the music, without a doubt, is some of the most memorable and even reflects the mood of the situations in the game. This game is Xenoblade Chronicles. Now, if the words Fiora race through your head, or this is the Monato's power, then you are on track because that is the correct game. You may have played him in Smash Bros. And learned about him that way, or you may have played Xenoblade Chronicles 2 that recently released on the Switch and wanted to look back at where this game came from, or that mysterious character from Smash Bros. This is one of my favorite single-player games of all time, and much like any other game I consider to be a gem, I found this game by watching someone else play it. It was a Let's Play on YouTube by Chugga Conroy. Thank you for that. So if you'd like to know why Xenoblade, the name, caught me. I have an affinity for things that start with X. Yes, that is definitely me being, what's that word?
Narcissistic.
Narcissist.
Bingo.
Yep. So Xenoblade just sounds cool, and the game's title means strange blade. Strange. And Shulk and his accumulating allies fight for survival in a world dominated by a superior species, which are just giant mechs, and they are called the Mechon. All hope was nearly lost until the Monado was discovered. Initially wielded by Dunban, Shulk eventually picks up the sword, and it is revealed that he can use the arts, and as well as the sword's ability to give the user, but it's only for Shulk that we know of. It allows him to see ahead of time. He gets a vision of the future, and this becomes one of his trademark abilities. So your main character can see the future. Ain't that something overpowering?
Not
Yeah, it
really.
is.
Kind
But
of.
the game balances this out with, okay, you know what's going to happen next, but are you strong enough to change that future? See, that's what kind of balances that out. Just because you know what's going to happen doesn't mean it's not going to happen because you know it's going to happen.
And now that you know what's going to happen, there's a lot of things that could change now that you know what's coming.
Exactly. If you see one of your party members getting
Clapped.
shanked by a spider's fangs, you need to figure out the proper art to give them, if you can even do it, and then
Shield.
save your character from suffering a horrifying death or just a really bad debuff. So yeah, the art system is one of the most unique fighting systems I've seen in a game, especially a real-time RPG. And I personally believe that it's the easiest to pick up because it's literally just you letting your characters fight on auto, and you get to scroll through you just scroll left to right through the arts that they pick up over time, which are just their attacks. And these attacks aren't just you mindlessly choosing their attacks. No, these are position-based attacks. So if you want to get the most effectiveness out of this attack and use its debuff, you want to stagger your enemy, you would use one of Shulk's attacks that allows him to attack from the side and stagger an enemy. Another character would follow up with Topple. They would use that attack, and then you would use another attack that could also add on to this effect. So you normally play as one character, and there are two other characters fighting alongside you. I kind of think of it as a trinity, and once you do an attack that can be followed up, the AI will usually follow up, and you'll do the full I'm just gonna say full stratagem because this is used on most enemies. So there's stagger, topple, and then daze. Daze means you have completed the stratagem, and from there all damage you do is going to be some of the best that you can do. You know Shulk's backslash that gets done from the back? That's the attack that you use once your enemy is toppled on the ground. Do it from the back and it's gonna hurt. You can use it from the back when they're not toppled, but that's just one of the most effective ways to use it. But it doesn't just stop at Shulk and his Monado. There are so many characters in Xenoblade, and they can be used different ways. You have tanks, you have gunners, you have, not gonna spoil, mech people, or
I mean, people already know about the character because of Smash Bros. When they played it.
look, we can blind ourselves.
They've only
Charles.
seen it in his ultimate, and unless they
Yeah.
paused it somehow during that time, they probably barely know
I mean,
what they are.
You probably don't put the pieces
I'm
together.
just those spirits.
Well, I mean, like, there's the thing where it's like the definitive edition is coming out soon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I can't wait.
So then more people are gonna play it. So
Yeah, I
then-
can't wait.
This combat system reminds me heavily of Final Fantasy 13. I know not one of the best ones, but
It's okay.
It's okay.
it had this like whole paradigm shift system where you like pick different modes. Like you set one mode to be the tank who makes everyone target him, stuff like that. While your other people, one's a healer and one's designated attacker. You can switch this on a fly during combat.
Now, did it have to fulfill that particular role, or could you just have a bunch of tanks?
You could have a bunch of tanks, although you wouldn't get far because it'd just be your guys getting hit over and over again.
Yeah, so I definitely say that's how Xenoblade worked, but everyone is well versed, so you could mix it up however you like. I usually kept Shulk, Sharla, and Ryan, and then I'd mix it up with like maybe Ricky, Dunban, and Ryan. So you can honestly mix it up any way you want.
Forgetting best girl.
Wait, so you don't have to have Shulk in the party?
No,
You're forgetting best girl.
you get all these different characters, and you can your playstyle changes based on who you have on the team.
So I'm gonna say this. That's one of Persona 5's weaknesses is you have to play Joker no matter what. You have to play him.
You know,
Joker dies, you'll lose.
I honestly had to figure out for myself that you can unequip Shulk, and I was like, wow. So I could just make the main character. Well, you don't make the main character. Cutscenes are the same, but you can
You
play
just
as
push the
whoever
main
you like.
characters aside.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah,
Cool.
that's what I like about that.
I
It's
don't recommend you play as a healer though. I tried to make Melia the main character one time.
Like, oh no.
I couldn't do jack. I had to wait for my party members to do something that will let me debuff the character properly.
But-
It just wasn't
Sit there and
fun.
wait for your party.
Melia is just debuff. Let's use this debuff. Like,
Debuff time.
And I do have one attack, but it allows me to smack you with my staff. It doesn't do very much. Also, I'm
Die
cute.
instead. But if she smacked
Yeah.
the staff, she would die then.
Well, if they have spike.
She'll have aggro.
Oh. Never get aggro on Melia. Please don't do that.
Oh
That's
my
just
god.
asking to lose, to be honest.
No, you're just terrible. But yeah. Okay, so back to the games. Just some little things on the game's characters and story. The game is where I was impacted the most was the game's character interactions that you get at the end of the battles. They always have these full-blown conversations. They're not just one-liners. It's not just short dialogue.
So, yeah,
the
we
game's
did it.
the game's fully voice acted. They actually talk to each other. So there's back and forth, and it just makes the game feel so much more real to you. Like these characters are talking to each other, and like, hey, we just survived the battle. We feel pretty damn good. Like, it's kind of like that thing.
Reminds me a little of when I did play Nier, when 2B and 9S would always have a conversation after a battle. Like,
Yeah, but these weren't like scripted cutscenes or like,
no, like they
character
had, like,
dialogues.
after a battle, they just had dialogues regarding like about ice cream. Like, what?
Ice cream. I don't remember them,
No,
but
not ice
maybe
cream,
it
but
did.
something like a
Well,
random
not-
conversation about something. Like,
Yeah.
they talk about random stuff. Like, are you sure you guys are not dating?
Also, if you left the characters idle for a minute, I think they would start talking to each other as well. And depending on who you had in the party at the time, the conversations would be different.
I love when
Like,
they do that. That's good.
Melia would cheese Shulk. Ryan and Shulk would be bros. Like, I just loved it. Ricky, I like Ricky, but I don't like Ricky.
I like Ricky, but I hate
Wow.
Ricky as a character.
Well,
so-
every game has a
and
character we hate on. Let's be fair.
Speaking of these interactions and friendships, there is something that I love in Xenoblade Chronicles called the affinity chain or something along those lines. You have to be friends with everybody, and you learn who their friends are and their connections are, and you learn who their connections are.
Oh my
and you,
God.
Yep, it turns into a giant spider web. And once you talk to all these people, do quests for them, become their friends, and so on, you get to learn even more things, and you just get rewards out of them. This also goes into one of the game's major quests, which is rebuilding a colony. But NPCs aside, affinity between your main characters. This allows them when they're fighting together to like be stronger, come up with new tactics.
So they're more compatible
be more
together.
likely to
They
heal
do
each
more
other.
things and stuff.
And yeah,
I've seen this in several games. It works
and
well.
you can also use this affinity to craft new gems, which create buffs, like adding a bunch of gems onto a particular weapon, like say the Monado, will make it even stronger. It can be like speed, defense, attack, and so on.
Yeah, I've liked that. I've always loved games where characters interact. Like one game I will recommend, even though I've yet to play it myself, but a game I will recommend if you like character interaction is Star Ocean.
Star Ocean. That is a title I have not played in quite a bit. I played one of them on the PS2 a while back.
But I do recommend if you like character interaction because I know a lot about the character interaction. That game has a lot of it.
Yeah. So just to wrap up with the music, what songs come to your mind when I say mechanical rhythm? Or what song comes to your mind when I say mechanical rhythm?
Dubstep.
You already know it. Or about what about You Will Know Our Names?
Dubstep.
Anyway.
You expect most of the fan base to have played this game, to be fair, though.
No.
To be fair,
you may have just heard this song playing Smash Bros. Like, my point is, these songs are memorable. Once you hear it once, it's pretty likely that you'll remember it, because that was one of my biggest things about Xenoblade. The music isn't just good, it's memorable. If you told me the name, the song would start playing in my head right away. This is even before I started playing the game, when it came out in Smash Bros. Like, this music was good, and I wanted to hear more of it, not just the 1 minute and 30-second compositions in Smash.
Yeah, that's an
The
incentive
actual
to play the
full
game.
5-minute songs.
Weren't you was super excited when Chronicles was
yeah.
announced? You talk about Smash. I think you were super excited when he was announced.
Yeah, because it came out of nowhere, and his trailer did him justice. Another thing too, one of my favorite songs is Refugee Camp and Satoru Marsh at Night. Refugee Camp pulled strings in my heart that felt like sorrowful paradise. You got away from the terrors of the world, but keeping the smell of adventure in the air. And You Will Know Our Names had me cheering on my party members as we took down many of the game's vast amounts of unique monsters, which are basically bosses all over the place. And beyond those bosses are a bunch of spread out super bosses. And then you have your legendary edgelords that you can find post game.
I love it when games have post-game content, especially it's just like secret ultimate evil boss fight.
Oh, dude,
I love those.
there are some end game bosses. Actually, no, this is almost every end game boss. You can't even get near it without dying. If it sees you within 100 foot radius, that thing will use some kind of status effect on you, and you're just done. You'll see your character like fly off. You're dead. It's probably one of the most intimidating things
Oh my
ever.
God.
There's like one of the battles where you have to approach it using Monato's shield. That's how you don't die at the beginning, just to start the battle.
Wasn't that one of the
So,
giant
yeah.
mountain?
The game's kind of
Wait.
brutal, dear God.
There's a dragon you fight that has Spike on it. I think that one's the same way too.
That just means you can't attack it normally, right?
You just have to be careful about your approach and how you go from there.
Heal.
It's definitely some trial and error there.
See, like, thinking of this, like, it sort of reminds me, isn't there like a big boss in like Final Fantasy 15 where it's just this giant turtle?
I hate this one.
Or
I hate that
something
one
like
so
that.
much. It's the
Think
reason I
about
never
the
picked up the
passion.
game ever again. I hate that
I
so
don't want
much.
to talk about that one. I don't know.
Didn't
We
it
don't
take?
talk about
Doesn't
that
it
one.
take like 2 hours to defeat it?
2 literal hours. I died at the end because of a glitch. Or I didn't die. It knocked me away, and the health reset.
Yeah.
I was so livid.
Yeah, we don't talk about that one.
That game's cursed.
Yeah, that's the first time I ever had to like turn the game off. Well, it was a PS4, so you don't turn it off. And I picked it up later just to finish the boss. But yeah, we don't talk about that. So last but not least, Xenoblade is no pioneer, and I've seen similar features done in other games in recent years, but not achieve the same level of engagement as Xenoblade did. So that's why Xenoblade stood out to me most. It did things that I've seen before, but it combined them all together in a way that just felt clean and well done and finished.
I love it when games combine like mechanics from other games and just like nice, game pie.
Yeah,
With all the ingredients in there.
I think the first game was good. Xenoblade Chronicles X was different.
Okay.
I didn't hate it.
Didn't like it.
No, I didn't hate it. I didn't like. I definitely didn't like it per se, but you can't deny that the game was beautiful.
Like-
And once you finally get your doll, the game is fun from there.
Xavier, you're pretty freaking best girl.
Who?
Fiora.
I need to. Yeah. I guess I can't go without shedding a light on her. She'll make you cry. That's all I can say. She'll make you cry.
She's best girl. There's a reason why.
Yeah. We'll talk about that later. Okay, so yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles is my game of the decade. My defining game of my decade.
One of the things I forgot to add about Persona 5, I love the music in that game. There's so much music you just can jam out to.
Oh. I also,
Well, Persona's always been known for its music. Even from like the third game has like these really darker themed tones and stuff like
Well,
that.
I mean,
I think
Fourth game's more friendly because that's what it was about. A lot of friend stuff.
The Lime Corporation game, I forgot to bring up the music. That game's music is like simple and all that, but when shit goes wrong, when like elves are escaping, your music starts to go dubstep and like, oh my god, boss music.
Boss fight music intensifies.
Once the boss steps in, you get the hardest drop of 2019.
No, it's like the worse it gets, the worse. No, like there's like a
or 2016.
meter. Like the worse your place gets, the deeper the music gets. Like what the heck's happening?
All these people are dying while dubstep's in the background. You think Skrillex assaulting your facility or whatever?
Yeah, but Persona 5 was my first Persona game, but the music like really stood out as well. I can like listen to that like all the time.
Yeah, I have like some of the music in that game.
Yeah,
gotta play it
Persona
still.
5 is definitely. I can pick up some songs pretty easily from there and just remember
Name
what
one.
they are.
I want to see.
Hold on. There's one I always listen to. I don't pay attention to the name though. I'll tell you after this podcast.
Fair enough.
One of the ones that like I really enjoy is Rivers in the Desert.
That's a really good one.
That boss
Life Will
fight.
Change. I always love that one.
Yeah.
Yep. But that boss fight, I swear, that was one of the most infuriating
There's
ones.
like the first boss fight has a really good music. It's like my favorite in the game, which sucks why he's at the beginning. Because I'm like, I want to hear like tracks like this, but he just has the
Okay,
best one.
I remember what it is. Face Myself.
That is Persona 4.
It is?
Are we still
That is
recording?
Persona 4.
Okay.
recording?
Regardless, it
Yeah.
was one of my favorite songs for Persona 4. Okay. So, yeah. I think the Persona series probably has even more gem music.
They're all so good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the
So, yeah.
songs. Yeah. The songs is what gets me best about the game. First warning, second warning, third warning, no
Is
warning.
that just what it's called?
No, that's what these songs are called. They're for
Is that the what?
Okay, the default.
no, it's not default because it's game
No,
one.
no,
You're gonna die.
I get it. All right, so let's wrap this up. You can find us on Twitter at KickbackBoys1. You can find me at Lysarius on Twitter. Brandon, you can find at Vextro55. As far as social media tags. Now, situation regarding our channel, you may have noticed that there has been a deflation in Let's Plays. It's because we're making a Let's Play channel to throw all our episodes on. You may have seen the update video. So that's what we'll be doing for Let's Plays if you're a fan of those. Hypercast will be an area for all of our major projects, such as A Game in Time and
The podcast itself.
Indie Overcast and the Overcast, in the podcast as well. So yeah, so I'm probably gonna make a short bit to kind of like explain what Hypercast has become in 2020. Thank you for listening. We'll see you guys next time on the next podcast.